Hi, and welcome to this class. This lesson, the lesson that we're doing today is entitled Kindergarten Self Portraits or Kindergarten Portraits. You're going to be doing a full body portrait. We're going to do a drawing of you today. All right? For today's lesson, you're going to need a small piece of sort of regular paper, a piece of cardstock or construction paper that you can do watercolors on. It's a little heavier than regular paper. You're also going to need pencil and eraser. You're going to need markers, and you're going to need some watercolors. Now, for watercolors, you can use the simple cake kind. Hopefully, you have laying around the house. If you don't, you can also use a small amount of food coloring into a tiny amount of water in a little bitty dish, and you can use those for watercolors as well. We're going to be using cake watercolors. Serena's using a little set here, and let me get them open. You can see these have a small selection of colors, much like the ones you probably are using at home. The last thing you're going to need are scissors, okay? Oh, and brushes. You're going to need brushes as well. All right. So, and a little cup of water. Let's make sure we've got everything. So you should have watercolors, water, markers, pencil and eraser. You should have your brush to brush with and the paper to work on. All right. You ready to get started? All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about drawing people. And let me get you that. Yeah. We're going to talk about drawing people. So when we talked about drawing people in the classroom, we've mentioned all kinds of proportions and that sort of thing. We're going to keep it really simple with this one. What I want you to do is draw a picture of yourself and just do your very best. Think about what your body parts are. You got 2 arms, 2 legs, a body, a head. Don't forget there's a neck in there. So real quick, draw yourself and don't forget your hair. So I'm going to draw a picture of me.
Does it need to be big?
It doesn't have to be huge. It needs to fit on that smaller piece of paper.
This is too small.
No, by the time you get your head on there, you'll be all right. And we're going to keep it simple, and I'll show you mine here in a second so you can see just how simple we're going to keep it. Remember when drawing on body parts, that, our body, we want to have it an open area, a large area where we can color into it. We don't want a stick body. Same thing with our arms and legs. If you make a little extra line on your arms and legs, and I'll show you on mine. So I'm giving myself what I call a potato body, but it's a round body. But my arms and my legs and my head all have space that I can color into. Okay. How's yours coming?
I'm having a lot of trouble with the legs.
That's
I'm
okay.
very good at legs.
You're doing great. Excellent. And then put some feet on those legs. And again, we're not gonna overcomplicate it.
I'm pretty good with.
Are you happy with that drawing? Or you gonna do another one?
I think I want to do another one.
All right. So if you don't, or if you're not satisfied with the first one, flip your paper over. Flip your paper over and draw it. Now we've had a practice one. Now you've done it in practice. This time I want you to think about what did you not like about that first drawing? Maybe it was too small. Were your legs not long enough? And see if we can correct those and get a drawing we're really happy with. And again, don't forget that hair. You got beautiful hair. Don't forget your hair.
When I brush it.
Oh, one last material you're going to need, and I forgot to mention, is glue. Before we're done, we're going to need glue today. So take your time. You're drawing your body, your arms, your hands, your legs, your feet. Don't forget you may have a long neck. You got a head with your hair on it. And we're going to start coloring those in just a second. Coming along great. All right, I like those feet. Don't forget some hair and some hands. Don't forget you have 2 eyes and a mouth and a nose. Think about how artists choose how they're going to interpret things and how they're going to draw their things. We may looked at a lot of artists who did very realistic drawings and tried to make their proportions exactly perfect. And we saw lots of artists who really tested and pushed those limits, and they made the proportions very different. And so feel free to have a little artistic license, take artistic license, and make you look the way you want to look, even if you don't think that's the way you actually look. It's okay. Serena is finishing up hers right now, putting her hair on. Now, each of these videos we make, this is the first time we've been doing some of these lessons ourselves. We're kind of rushing to try to get as many resources available to you. So we're experimenting, having a lot of fun with this, and I hope you are as well. Are you having a good time so far?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. That's a good sign. All right. All right, you ready? So I'm going to show you what mine looks like, and I'm going to...
I'm not good at drawing.
You did great. Look at mine like nose.
I can't see your nose.
You can't even see it because my mustache. That's right.
But I don't have a mustache behind my nose.
Serena's complaining she doesn't have a mustache behind her nose. Okay, so this is what mine looks like. All right, show them what yours looks like.
No nose.
And again, I'm going to hold it a little closer. There you go. Thank you. And so what we're going to do is we're going to color those in, okay? Excuse me. We're not going to color those in. We're going to set those off to the side. Set those off to the side.
There we go.
All right, you ready?
That's a good nose.
We're going to set those off to the side. And now we're going to paint a background. When we're finished painting our background, we're going to cut ourselves out and paste them onto our background. So we won't have color on our bodies and on our drawings, but we'll have them on the background. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to choose what colors you want to do your background. You might be in a location. Think about how artists choose what sort of environment they're going to put their subject matter in. So I might put mine in the city. Where are you going to put yours?
I'm going to put mine in the creek with my mom.
Oh, in the creek with the mom. That's cool.
That's where we go and visit during the summer.
Awesome. I love that. So she's going to paint like a little creek background. Is that right? I'm going to do a little city background, and we'll see whose comes out not better because they're all going to be awesome, but we'll see exactly which one we enjoy. And if you don't like what you've done, you know what you can do? Do it again. Do it as many times as you like until you get things done the way you like them. All right. Ready? So now we're going to draw ourselves first with a pencil, but then once we get our backgrounds drawn with a pencil, we're going to bring Sharpie or a magic marker and go over those lines if we have details in the background like trees or that sort of thing. And the same thing with our drawing of ourselves. Before we cut these out, we're going to outline ourselves in that dark marker. All right?
Just one question.
Sure.
Do we have to draw our background like this or this?
Do we have to draw our background which way? Which way would you like to do it?
I don't know.
Either way, it's up to you. We call this portrait or landscape. You choose how yours is going to be. The only thing I would say is make sure that your person fits on either direction. You don't want to, so yours is small enough that it'll fit either direction. All right? All right. Bless you.
Thank you.
Now you might choose to just make your background nothing but colors. Or you might make it a sunset or an oceanscape. Again, I want you to think about that artistic process. What are the considerations that an artist has to take in, or that they have to be considerate of when they are thinking about how they're going to do their backgrounds? So just like you, an artist would have to consider, do I want my background to be dramatic? Do I want it to be ominous? Do I want dark clouds? Or do I want something happy and uplifting? So you're choosing exactly what you're going to do in the background and how you're going to do it.
Can you draw another person in your background?
So we're only going to draw background stuff, but not extra people. Yeah.
Darn it.
I know what you were thinking.
My mom.
But this is a self-portrait. So we're only drawing the one person on a background.
Okay. I'll just pretend like my mom's over there not getting wet.
So take your time. Draw whatever you need to draw. And then pretty soon we're going to start the fun part, which is painting. That's always the most fun part in everything, right? Are you done drawing your background?
Yeah.
All right, let me finish up here.
No.
Okay. Now, let's take a marker and go over our background. I'm going to use this one. Do you want to use... Which one do you want to use? What's that?
I want this.
Okay. All right. So now we've each got a black magic marker that we're going to go over our lines with.
Do we do our person or our back?
Both. We're going to do both the person and the background. It's a good
Which
question.
one do we have to do first?
I'm doing my background first, but you can do your person first if you like. But you are going to, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. You are going to go over both your drawing for your background and your person with your black marker. Is it recording? Yeah, it's still recording. Sometimes I have to get my daughter to help me out with technology.
He doesn't know everything.
He does not know everything, that's for sure.
Oh, wait. That was done.
I want to take a second to thank Serena for helping me with these videos. It's a lot more fun when you're doing art with somebody else. And I hope you all have somebody at your home who you can be doing art with. Hopefully you've got a parent sitting next to you who's also engaging, or a sibling, maybe a brother or sister, and maybe you can help them out. One of the best ways that we learn is to teach others. So if you have someone there who you understand the direction, you can help them with it, you'll learn even more. Okay. All right. I've got my background done. I'm now doing my portrait. Now, because my magic marker's thick, my portrait is changing just a little bit.
I don't have to color like this part, right? Because it's supposed to be light.
However you want to do it.
Okay, good. Because that part's supposed to be light.
So once I've got mine outlined, I'll show you what they look like. And then once Serena's got hers outlined, we'll look at what hers look like. So this is my portrait. Once I've got my outline drawn. And this is what I've done for my background so far. Now, I've not painted in, of course, but I've got a little city street scene with some buildings and a little street light out there. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to start adding a little color to our background. You're going to get a watercolors, your brushes and your water together. It helps if you have a paper towel laying around. We have a lot of This is our studio area. As you can tell, we've got all of our paints and supplies over here on shelves. But we also keep lots of little rags around for just this kind of thing. But if you have a little paper towel to dab your brushes, clean your brushes, that'll help as well.
Do we have to like do our facial thingies?
No, don't worry about it.
Okay, good, because those would just.
So Serena asked a good question. Do we have to outline the face? Now, I did on mine, but that's why I said it changed a little bit. She's got such small detail that if she outlined her little face details, you wouldn't be able to see the details.
Yeah, like my face would just be black.
Just be
blob.
Yeah, big blob. So don't go over your detail too much. If you have and you need to start over again, flip that over, try it again, get your second piece of paper. It's always okay to make mistakes. All right, I think it looks great. You ready? Awesome. Now that's her person. Show them your background that you've got going.
Person and my back.
Her portrait and her background. All right, you ready to start painting?
You can't really see it, but I added like tiny details to make it look like the water's flowing.
Little waves going over the pebbles and rocks. Awesome. All right, so we're going to take a few minutes. We're going to paint ours. Take a few minutes, and I want you to paint yours as well. All right. You got all kinds of brushes here to choose from. Help yourself. Which one do you choose first?
I'm going to start with this one.
I'm going to use this brush. It's going to be my kind of do-all brush there. And you paint your background however you like. Take time and enjoy yourself. This is the fun part. Again, if we move faster than you do, please pause the videos so that you can catch up. Don't move faster than you need to. Don't try to move as fast as we do to keep caught up. Move as fast as is enjoyable for you. Have fun with it.
This is so much fun. I'm so glad I got to help you with these.
I am too. Again, thank you for your help. This makes it a lot more fun when there's two of us doing these than when I have to do them by myself.
Thank you for letting me help.
So, while we're painting, we'll talk about what's going on just a little bit. I know you all are probably stuck at home like the rest of us. I hope you're making the best of it, having a little fun on occasion, get to play with your friends. And if you are someone who really enjoys art, don't hesitate. Do all 15 lessons if you like. That's one of the nice things about having access to the Google Classrooms. If you do have access and can get on there and watch these videos, you don't have to stop when we say stop. You can go on and do another video, do another lesson, do as many as you like. I'm going to continue to add lessons in as the year goes on, the semester goes on. So keep coming back. If you've done them all, come back next week. There'll be more to do. We're going to also explore in the next couple of weeks some museums, some different art museums, and go take a look at some art. Hopefully, I'll get to do a live recording in a art gallery if we are able to get access. We'll see how long they stay open between now and next week. Well, we'll have to wait to see how long they stay open. But I'd like for y'all to see some, get some experience in just more than just doing some art lessons. Yes, ma'am.
How do I make, I need a lighter blue than this.
A lighter blue. So when we're working with watercolors, Serena's asking, how can I get a lighter blue? So it just so happens I'm working with blue. And so if you'll notice, and we don't want to pick our watercolors straight up because that could cause the water to run. So I'm going to kind of put it in an angle, but you can see I've got darker areas of blue and lighter areas of blue. So the way I get the lighter areas is just more water and less of the pigment.
But won't that bleed through the paper?
That's why we're using the heavy paper. And even with the heavy paper, it might buckle a little bit. You should be using, again, a cardstock. Poster paper works really well. Poster board works really well. And if you have access to watercolor paper, of course, that's the best.
Could you use, white cardboard?
White cardboard. Probably not cardboard itself. Cardboard itself tends to soak up and become real soft real easily. Good question. All right. Let's get these things drawn and painted here. More water, she says. Now, if you used a Sharpie, you probably won't have any issue with the pens bleeding a little bit. Where we use watercolor markers, some of that marker might bleed in, but that's kind of one of the neat aspects of using those markers is having that those areas kind of bleed together. Um, if you don't like that effect, you can use a Sharpie next time. I kind of like it. I'll show you what I mean here. If you look at my edges, they kind of darken where I've added the red because the marker kind of bleeds into that red just a little bit, which I like, but you may not like it so much. How you coming? Oh, yours is looking very nice.
I'm gonna have to go back over my like teeny tiny light details again once this dries. Won't be able to use a lot of paint.
I like having you here because it reminds me to slow down a little bit. When I do these without Serena, I'm afraid they'll go so fast that you all won't keep up and you'll lose interest. So again, if ever you need to hit that pause button, please do. I don't want you to feel like you're being rushed, ever. You should be taking your time and enjoying yourself. Now, we don't have music on right now because I want you to be able to hear the instruction. But I also recommend that if you are really getting into the art and you've got the directions and you know what you're doing already, turn the video off, turn the music on, have a great art day, enjoy yourself. Do something fun, bring some friends over, get them all involved. How you doing?
I'm trying to get this because I can't reach it. It's coming along pretty good. I just have to color in my sun and my mountains.
Awesome. It's looking great.
I do have a problem though.
What's the problem?
The problem is I'm going to have a lot of white left on my page.
So this happens a lot. I noticed this in the art classroom where in our minds there's some kind of division between where land is and maybe our background. So
just kind of color that like a sky maybe?
no, there's not going to be sky between our foreground and our mountains, right?
No.
So what happens between the river and the mountains? What normally happens?
Grass?
Grass, sure. So you might have like a field of flowers that go between your river and your mountains. You might have just some grass. You might have animals. Well, I like what you're doing. I'm going to stop talking right now. I don't know what she got inspired by, but boy, she's on
That's
it
how
now.
I always do grass.
Looks good. I love it.
I know.
It's got the texture.
I do not like this color green.
Don't like this color green, she said.
No. It's gross color, but I'll work with it. Oh gosh, I did not get enough water. I got too much paint.
All right, I'm about to put the finishing touches on mine. Serena's is coming along great. Again, we're not going to rush these. You take your time. You don't, if you need to pause that video, don't feel like you have to keep up with us if we're moving faster than you are. You do yours in your own pace.
I I didn't even realize this, but I'm kind of making it look like the wind's blowing, maybe?
Oh, nice.
That's crazy.
So she's got some wind action going in with her grasses there.
Mm-hmm.
I see that.
Gotta really get this color off here because I'm switching. I need a little bit more water to contain this. Maybe a little more water would do. Make kind of a lighter colors. Why did I made a mistake because I switched from green to blue when I still had a lot of green to color.
Oh, that's okay. It's okay. You can back.